Hello, this is Nick995. I just want to talk about Horizon Zero Dawn. This is gonna be my, like a quick review on this game. I'm trying to make this video be below 10 minutes. I try my best. So Horizon Zero Dawn. This game came out 2017, early 2017. I bought it 2 years back. It's a very fun game, huge world. Like for example, Red Dead or Metal Gear Solid or Skyrim. Gigantic world. Lots of challenges to do. There's lots of loot, lots of collectibles, lots of trophies, upgrades. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is the story. So this is like this takes place in the future, in the far distant future, where basically there's machines. What would happen if there are these animal machines living on the same world with hunter-gatherer prehistoric humans? So like these prehistoric humans, they live in tribes, they're different, and they have their rules and all that. They use bow and arrows. There's no guns, there's no cars, there's no tanks. Basically, everybody has to get around, like by foot. And then, like there's history to behind what happened. It's kind of like I believe many years before this, like many generations before this timeline, humans were experimenting with basically like AI program, kind of like Skynet, and then basically destroyed a civilization, like destroyed cities, main cities, countries, and all that, and then so because of that, the basically like it basically forces humans to go back to prehistoric type times, like hunter gatherers. There's technology. There's no civilization. Well, it still is to a certain extent. Every tribe has their rules and all that, but for the most part though, there's no like you see, no, like maritime, there's no cars, there's no buildings, there's no jets, there's no planes. It's just a hunter gatherer, type, a landscape. Now it's really fun. Like, okay, this game has many different, like it basically has these, machines, but the machines they're modeled off of animals. Like you see, for example, like you'll see like a deer machine, a alligator machine, a T-Rex, a Tyrannosaurus Rex machine, uh, a saber-toothed tiger, a machine. There's even like these giant hawks, a machine. And then each machine has different attacks. There's basically different elemental attacks. There's fire, ice, electricity. There's a corruptibility, which basically does damage over time. There's poison, which I believe like super rare. Like basically, oh no, never mind. Poison is a part of a weapon that you get. But poison basically corrupts. No, like will control. Like your, like a certain robot, or like it'll make enemies attack each other. But it's amazing how they have it like that because there's many different types of weapons in this game. There's like your standard bow and arrow. There's the fire bow and arrow. There's ice bow and arrow. You can even craft different types of arrow type weapons, or like you can craft like this tripwire, like it basically shocks the enemy. You can even craft like these bombs, no, like these slingshot bomb. There's a slingshot for electricity or ice and fire, or just like a standard explosives. And different robots and like different machines, they have different weaknesses. Like I believe the alligator is weak against fire, because he mostly relies on ice. The glidehawk is weak against, I believe, electricity. And the most robots you're gonna see they're weak against electricity. But you gotta be very careful because electricity doesn't affect every robot the same way. Like there's lots of strategy to it. And since you have no guns, your armor is limited. Like you'll die very quickly, so you have to take advantage of healing items. healing in this game, like it's a bit tricky. Like you have to, like, I basically have to pick up these herb plants in the world, and then like over time though, like you will heal yourself, but you can only carry limited, like your healing items are very limited, so you have to really use them wisely. You have to really use them wisely. But I always try and buy these healing potions. We can only carry, I believe you can only carry around 6 of the standard and 3 of the super potions at a time. But yeah, the healing is probably the most important part. And then you have to make sure that you're using the right weapons. There's a lot of strategy to it. There's lots of strategy. Your main character Aloy has this device, like it actually helps you. It'll help you spot like enemy, like where enemies are going, or are they going to the left, or are they gonna come back this way? Should I not go this way and let the enemy walk into this trap? Yeah. So this device shows you a lot, and then you go into these old wreckage of buildings, or facilities where like you'll see like there's a lot of there's obviously like a lot of history about what happened with the pre-civilized world and all that. So the device basically shows you like dialogue or like hints in the world. Okay, this is important. This is important. I have to get this. I have to get this. There's a recorder here from 500 years back about this guy talking about this and that. Another thing too is that the world feels so real. You'll go from desert areas to snow areas to swamp areas to grasslands. That is one of my favorite areas. Like you're seeing here, me playing in desert area is near Meridian, which is one city. So the desert areas will have different type of you know machines from, for example, snowy areas. They kind of follow like the terrain. Like it's very realistic. Like that's amazing. Like how you see that, especially like if that was my first time going into the desert area, and I was amazed to see the Tyrannosaurus Rex. Like you see here, the Tyrannosaurus Rex machine. For the first time, I was like, "Whoa, this is massive! I'm supposed to fight that? How?" But I have him. Well, as you see here, I have him under my control, right? Because like I got close, I was able to override him, and then yeah, so he basically will attack anybody that I ask him to, or no, like no, that's attacking me. She has her melee weapon. The melee weapon does lots of damage. There's so many different types of upgrades in this game. Upgrades come quick. That's a problem. Upgrades come quick, but it kind of makes sense because it kind of balances out, because this is a difficult game. You're gonna die a lot if you're not careful. You gotta really utilize the dodge, the healing items. Like don't fight any big robots unless you have the weapons to do so, or upgrades. But like as you see, if you play this game, you'll know upgrades come very quickly early on. Now another thing is the loot. So basically, like you'll loot things. Once you loot things, you'll be able to craft more arrows. You can craft. There's basically different types of loot. There's chill water. There's a fire loot, which makes you be able to make more fire-based arrows. There's a ridgewood, like your standard ridgewood, which basically like these are broken branches, and then they'll you can basically use them like to craft regular arrows, or like some sort of weaponized arrow type, a machine gun or whatever. But the loot really, there's I like how the loot. There's many different types of loot. There's even treasures where you will kill this one a saber tooth machine, and then Like you'll get like the heart of the machine, and then the heart of certain machines, they're very valuable. So you have to go into like these like these tribe cities, and then like you sell them, and then you sell that to craft new weapons or buy a new weapon. Some weapons are not unlocked until way like until like you're at a certain level, and if you have that treasure. There's also different, there's also a scenery type collectibles where you will stand. I kind of like if you play Spider-Man PS4, where you have to take a picture of these buildings. But except this one here, that the focus, the gadget she has in her ear, Aloy, the main character, you'll have to stand in a certain position, and then it'll show you like what type of building was there hundreds of years before. Because as mostly there's a land, there's like there's empty land, where buildings used to be. There's even certain types of like these amethyst type loots, which will help you eventually get like trophies after the game. Like, I'm talking about actual PlayStation trophies. Those are hard to find. You have to really take your time. There's like there's so many different types of loot. There's collectibles, and there's even this huge giraffe robot. Like if you go on it, you have to override it, and then like it'll basically unlock that side of the map for you. But the loot can get repetitive. Like you'll realize over time that you get every single loot in this game you'll get silver, like which is like it's this game's a currency for gold, normal currency, But over time, especially if you play on the hard difficulties, like, you won't get that, like those special loot, or you won't get like as much chill water or flame. And two, like okay, like since this is based on tribe warfare, kind of prehistoric humans, it can get annoying fighting other humans because some of the mechanics are annoying. You gotta climb up here to get to shoot this human on the head, and then sometimes though, like the arrow mechanic, sometimes it doesn't go where you want it to go, and then like obviously like you'll get overpowered quickly because they move very fast, and you have to be able to time like your attacks. And another thing too, like I kind of wish you can override every well, you gotta unlock override abilities for each machine in the game. Now, once you override, I believe the Dare robot, you can be able to kind of use it as a horse, so like you can ride it around or whatever. But only you can only do that. You can only do that like on the horse. So you obviously can't do that. Like if you override a saber-tooth tiger or alligator, you can't ride it around. But I kind of wish they would have it so okay, these machines will follow you around once overridden. So they'll follow you around just in case if there's any enemies around lurking around, or they'll help you take down this like this tribe for you. But the enemies, like once overridden, now the way this game acts, the robots will just stay in one place. That's kind of a wasted mechanic. I kind of wish they would add more to that. This is a single player only game. There's no co-op to it. But the single player immersion of it, it's so, the voice acting is so real, feels so real. Yeah, the story is amazing. There's a lot of history behind it, a lot of lore. And this is not based on any comic book or anything. This was Guerrilla Studio. I believe Guerrilla Studio made this. Like this is their original idea, and it's a PlayStation exclusive. It's amazing. I love this game. I have to get back into this again. Another thing too, fast movement. This game, the the movement mechanics, like it always feels smooth. Like you're never like like your character doesn't move too heavy or too light. Rolls are very, like you're able to dodge quickly, which helps with survivability. The bow and arrow mechanics feel solid, except for like when you're shooting. Sometimes, like when you're shooting something from afar, it's not gonna go where you want it to go, or like you have to be very precise, and you have to know how to spend your upgrade points wisely on your arrow. But yeah, that was my Horizon Zero Dawn review. A great game, great game. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, share the video. Thanks.